What if Darth Vader secretly trained a new generation of Jedi? Let's explore the depths of it in the video.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Anakin stares at the young boy, confusion written all over his face, desperation and terror. His orders are clear though, and there are to be no survivors in this assault. He extends his hand, reaching for his lightsaber. They are unarmed, and it should be easy to deal with. But as he stares at the young boy's eyes, he hesitates. Anakin hated the Jedi Order and everything it stood for. But that was the likes of Master Luminara and Mace Windu. These children are innocent, sometimes as much victims as him. He tries to squash that pity, reminding himself that this is for the greater good. And yet, when he looks at them, he finds himself thinking of his own children. One day, they will grow up to use the Force as well. He questions whether this is the galaxy he wants them to grow up in. Anakin slowly lowers his hand and gestures for them to be silent. Listen to me carefully. I need all of you to trust me, and I will ensure you will all survive the upcoming encounter.
What will you do, Master Skywalker?
Trust me, young one. He listens to the footsteps approaching and steps out for a moment, just as a squad of clone troopers appear. Commander Appo is leading them and raises his blaster in salute.
General, we've secured most of the temple. Are you having any trouble on your side of things, sir?
Yes, Commander. There is a group of younglings hiding inside. I want you to take them alive. Set your blasters to stun and place them on my ship.
Sir, we were instructed to take no prisoners, that the Jedi must all be exterminated.
Indeed, all of them. And yet do you think we've taken all the Jedi in the temple?
All of them? No, sir.
No, not to mention the other Jedi who are scattered across the galaxy. That is why we need prisoners to interrogate and hostages to lure out the survivors when the time comes. That excuse seems to satisfy the clones, who all nod and raise their blasters and change their settings. Once they are all clear, Anakin nods and lets them inside. A moment later, there is screaming followed by the sound of blaster fire, and then there is silence. He finishes securing the rest of the temple and has his gunship take the children to transport the younglings to an undisclosed location. He doesn't know that the security feed is recording everything. When Obi-Wan and Yoda later see this, they are initially confused, believing that Anakin must have taken them prisoner for Palpatine. Later, when Obi-Wan confronts Anakin on Mustafar, he tries to question this, but Anakin says nothing, even as he burns. Of course, the clones do not report any of this to Palpatine, so as far as he knows, these children have all died. They were transported to an abandoned Jedi temple that Anakin had discovered some time ago. He had garrisoned it and turned it into his retreat. And there, close to 20 younglings are left to hide and make a living with the meager rations they have. Among them is Zir, who still wonders what is happening after the incident in the Jedi Temple. When he wakes up, he found himself in this temple. The one thing that is clear to him is that he is only alive thanks to Anakin Skywalker. He doesn't know how, but he somehow managed to convince the clones to spare them. Their only company is a few servant droids Vader left to keep the place from falling behind. But one day, he sees a starfighter landing on the landing pad, and the children cautiously peek out from the windows. Their breath catches in their throats as they see a dark, armored figure stepping out. He has covered himself from head to toe in a black suit, hiding his face, but nothing masks his aura. It is raging and ferocious, like a volcano waiting to burst. Yet, it is not as dark as many assumed. There are strange flickers in it, as if conflicted. One person that takes notice of this is Zir, who also recognizes how familiar his presence seems. Although his face is now hidden, he recognizes the young Jedi from the temple. While the rest of the younglings hide, he comes running out to meet him. He finds Vader just as Zir approaches. The youngling drops to his knees and bows.
Master Skywalker, I'm so glad you were here. I was so worried that something might have happened to you.
You recognize me?
I can sense your presence, Master. We had thought you had died in the attack on the Jedi Temple after the clones took us. Many of the younglings were wondering if we could return home.
Home? There is no more home. The Jedi Temple was overrun. Right now, your only home is this station, young one.
Vader looks at the child. He was tempted to lie to him and spare his feelings, but he can sense the strength in him and decides he can handle the truth. But as he says it, he watches as the boy's face falls. He appears crestfallen and stifles a sob. Around him, he can see the other younglings watching from the shadows, half hidden and afraid to approach him.
So the Jedi Order is no more?
The words strike him like a shockwave. While that was what he was seeking to accomplish, hearing someone say it sounds alien. There is a wrongness to it that Vader cannot shake off. When he looks at their eyes, he does not see relief or even apathy. To them, it was not some monolith order or the arm of the Senate. It was their home. A lump forms in his throat.
No. The Jedi, as we knew them, are gone. But so long as you live, their ideals will carry on. I know many of you are frightened and confused. You don't know what happened, and much has changed in the galaxy. But know this, if we are to survive, then we must evolve with it. That is the way of the Force, and that shall be the way of our Jedi Order.
As Vader says this, the children all start to step forward. They look at him tepidly, but Zir encourages them to come closer and see him, saying that it's Master Skywalker and that he is there to lead them. Though his helmet betrays nothing, Vader is startled by the declaration. Truth be told, he did not have any plans to save these children. He was acting on impulse and had not thought this far ahead. But as they gather around him, their eyes looking at him pleadingly, searching for answers, he makes his decision and begins training them. It turns out finding time to train them proves easier than expected. By spending all his time leading the Imperial forces across the Outer Rim, Vader can delegate these tasks to the rest of the army commanders. While his troops march ahead and continue to bring order to the Empire, Vader begins training his gaggle of new followers. He initially plans on training them in the ways of the dark side of the Force, but Vader cannot bring himself to do it. As he looks down at his gloves, all he ever feels is anger and hatred for the Jedi, for Palpatine, and for what he has become. And while that is what he is, he cannot possibly wish the fate on anyone else. Instead, he focuses on training them in the ways of the Force. However, his training is nothing like what the Jedi have done. He encourages these younglings to study through instinct and resources, focusing on a more militant style of the Force. Rather than being peacekeepers, he trains them to fight like warrior monks, who are prepared to fight for their survival. Rather than teach them about traditions and codes, he teaches them about powers and how to use them practically. Having served in the military for years, Vader knows military combat. He teaches them to fight in group tactics, fighting as a unit, and combining their powers. Vader knows that these children are all unique and trains them individually, helping them understand their fighting styles and assigning them a role in their little army. There, he emphasizes discipline, resourcefulness, and cunning to use what they have around them. In this regard, the untamed wilderness that surrounds the Jedi provinces is a blessing for his little order, as it allows them to hone their abilities beyond what they learned in the temple. From time to time, he might come across a new youngling and bring them into the fold, helping them find a place in the new Jedi Order, and it begins to feel like a true order instead of a group surviving. Many of the younglings who initially resist Vader come to see him as a mentor, especially little Zir. The young Jedi proves to be one of the most gifted in their group, and Vader takes special attention towards him. He sees that the boy grows up to be brave and curious. While he teaches the boy that he can never leave the temple, he continues to ask about the outside world and what was happening. Vader indulges in him, telling him about the Empire and how they continue to hunt the Jedi, but also how they crush the rebellion that attempts to fight off their attempts to bring order to the galaxy. In return, the Jedi come to regard Anakin as an almost father figure. They look to him for guidance, speaking to him as if he were Yoda, but also seeking in him for comfort and kindness. It is a strange feeling for Vader, who is used to only finding fear and distrust wherever he goes. Yet these younglings treat him as if he were their protector. Whenever he is with them, Vader feels the darkness in him dissipate ever so slightly, a place where he does not need to be the Dark Lord. Here he is simply another man, a guardian and a protector. In Zir, he comes to regard him as his new apprentice, something close to the son he lost. The training chamber hums with silence, and only the soft echo of breath and movement fills the space. In the center, 5 young individuals move in slow unison, guided by memory and discipline. Their lightsabers ignite in short bursts, training blades, harmless but exact. Vader watches from the shadows above, his presence oppressive and still. The rasp of his respirator punctuates the room like a metronome. He says nothing. Zir Reeve breaks formation. A subtle flick of his wrist, a small change in posture, but Vader notices. The boy is older now, maybe 17. Taller, sharper, restless. His strikes are precise, but his energy coils with impatience. After the drills, Vader turns from the gallery. Zir catches up with him.
You watch us train every day, but for what? We've been here for years. You taught us to fight, to feel the Force, but we never use it.
You use it every day to survive. to resist the chaos outside these walls.
Zier's voice rises.
We were meant to help people. Isn't that what the Jedi were for?
Vader stops. Slowly he turns, the red lenses of his mask catching the dim lights above.
The Jedi died chasing an ideal. That ideal blinded them to what the galaxy became.
But we're not Jedi. We're better than hiding in a cave while the others suffer.
You are alive because you were hidden. I trained you to endure, not to martyr yourselves. There will come a time to fight, but not yet.
Then what's the point of all this?
To survive. The galaxy is broken. You are not ready to face it.
He turns and disappears into the corridor's shadows, his cape trailing behind. That night, Zier slips through the supply hangar, using his knowledge of the base's blind spots. A droid freighter arrives, just as scheduled, automated, faceless. They are there to deliver supplies for the temple. He hides in the hold beneath the crates of ration packs and medkits. His lightsaber rests in a compartment sewn into his jacket, disguised, but within reach. The ship takes off. The stars stretch into lines without anyone noticing. Weeks later, he finds himself in the farming world of Daro 9. The tiny planet isn't marked on any major charts. The soil is dry, the air tinged with smoke, but it's exactly where he wants to be. He's heard rumors of trouble in the colony from brigands. Zier steps from the freighter into the sun-bleached market square, where fear hangs like dust. He doesn't have to wait long. As soon as the sound of speeders fills the air, a group of armored brigands appears, weapons drawn, and begins shouting orders at civilians. They tell them to fill up their ship for tribute. Zier watches from behind a crumbling arc. His breath stills. He closes his eyes. Feel. Not with rage, with purpose, just as Vader instructed him.
Hey, you lost, kid?
Zier responds by drawing his lightsaber and then prepares to fight. The rifle yanks from the man's grasp and clatters to the ground. The others react, but Zier is already moving. Blaster bolts come flying, but the young Jedi is parrying their shots with his lightsaber and then counters with a force push that throws them aside. As they fall on the ground, he leaps up after them and then swings his lightsaber. He moves like a ghost of the Jedi Temple, dancing between their shots, never staying still. But then he hears something approaching, something much larger. A pirate tank starts to roll in, its blaster cannon trained at him. Zier can barely leap out of the way as it fires upon him. It fires yet again and forces him to roll aside. The tank turns to face him, but then another shape leaps up from behind. He lands atop the hatch and activates his lightsaber. He disappears inside, and a moment later, the tank powers down.
You alright?
Zier turns. A red-haired man stands at the edge of the square, lightsaber clipped at his belt, eyes cautious but curious. Cal Kestis. The young Jedi bows to his savior. Cal's eyes narrow. The force swirls around the boy, controlled, balanced, but shaped.
I'm alright, Master. Thank you for your help. You're trained. Who taught you? He saved me from the temple. When the clones attacked, Master Skywalker saved us. When we woke, he brought us to safety. That's impossible. Master Skywalker was reported dead. He was killed during the assault. It is him. At least, I think it's him. You think? When he came back, he was in armor. A man in armor. What kind of armor? Black. Heavy. His voice, it's like breathing through a machine. That's not a Jedi who saved you. That's Darth Vader. No, that can't be true. He saved me and trained us all.
Alarm bells ring in Cal's head. No, that had to be Vader. There was no doubt about it. And if he was training Jedi, that would mean he was training them to become Inquisitors. He thanks Zier for his help, even as his mind begins to consider all the possibilities. If that is indeed the case, then he cannot risk those new Inquisitors rising up, and he's heard reports of rebel cells challenging the Empire. He reasons that one of them might have the capabilities to stop them. Cal watches Zier prepare to leave, but then grabs him by the shoulder and pulls him back.
Hang on a second. Wait, we need to talk to the Rebellion about this. The Rebellion? But aren't they anarchists and terrorists? Who told you that? Wait, actually, I think I might know who. No, well, not everyone. The Rebellion is fighting for freedom against the Empire. They just want to rule themselves. That's not what Lord Vader says. He says they are trying to stop him from bringing order to the galaxy. If you truly believe that, then ask yourself this. Why are the Jedi helping the Rebel Alliance? I know a few of them personally, and some of them are fellow Padawans. Or at least they were. That can't be true. I thought all the Jedi had either died or gone into hiding. Well then, if you don't believe me, then follow me.
Soon enough, Cal manages to make contact with one of the rebel cells, the Ghost Crew, who are operating in the area. They are all stunned to hear this report, especially Kanan, who might recognize them. In turn, the news reaches Obi-Wan's ears. He is insistent on joining this mission. The Ghost lowers quietly onto the rocky plateau of an unnamed moon. Dust and snow swirl in the shadows of its descent. Hera powers down the ship while Ezra and Sabine move to the ramp. Obi-Wan stands at the edge of the cargo hold, silent and still, wrapped in the familiar beige of a Jedi robe. Cal steps forward beside Zir, who scans the horizon nervously.
This is it. There's a burned base tucked into the side of that ridge, and I felt it, strongly.
Zir says nothing. His shoulders are tight, unreadable. The boy who once felt certain now walks with doubt like a weight on his back. He wants to sincerely deny it and say that it's a falsehood, and yet there is a disturbing amount of evidence to the contrary. The Jedi surrounding him now are proof enough. They move across the icy plain, cloaked by low fog. As they approach, the Force begins to whisper.
They know we're here. They've been trained.
Suddenly, there is a rustle in the leaves, and the figures leap out from all around them. One sends leaves flying in a storm that obscures their vision. They huddle together, but 2 young Jedi emerge with lightsabers raised, and 2 more ready to support them. Their faces are wary, not afraid. The leader, a girl with a scar across her cheek, raises her blade.
You're trespassing.
We don't want to fight. We just came to talk. We're not here to hurt you. We came because someone told us you were here. Survivors.
Your help is not welcome, Master Kenobi. You abandoned us. We don't need you. He already saved us.
They're talking about Vader.
Suddenly, the ground seems to shudder. The air thickens. Shadows stretch. A shape emerges from the fog. Tall, black-cloaked. The hiss of a respirator slicing the silence. Vader steps into the clearing. His saber remains at his belt, but it's his presence that draws the instinctive fear. Hera's breath catches. Cal moves protectively in front of Zir.
Anakin.
You should not have come. And you, Zir, you should not have left.
So it's true. Cal was right.
The younglings gather behind Vader, defensively. They form a defensive circle and grip their weapons tightly, preparing to defend their lord to the last. Obi-Wan steps forward, carefully. From a pouch at his side, he draws a compact holoprojector. He activates it with a trembling thumb.
There is much you do not know. We know enough. We would have died in the temple if Lord Vader had not saved us.
A Jedi temple corridor appears, with panic, smoke, and blaster fire. Children running. And Anakin Skywalker, hooded, igniting his saber. The holo-recording captures it all, his blade cleaving through masters, cutting down defenders, flames behind him. These were the same Jedi who had trained the younglings, who had died protecting them. Silence falls over the frozen clearing. Zir stares at the footage, unmoving. The other students look between him and Vader, back and forth.
No, No! Tell me that it's not you. Tell me this isn't real.
Vader does not speak.
Tell me, please.
The mask gives no expression, but something. A crack shows in the Force around him. He looks at the young Jedi he had raised, who he had trained to be a real warrior, raised to be Jedi, and he would have been proud of them. They had come to him with their triumphs and doubts. They had looked to him as a master and leader, but now when he looks at them, he sees their grief, regret, silence.
I did what had to be done.
The girl with the scar stumbles backward. Another ignites her saber again, aimed at him now.
You saved us. You trained us. You raised us. And you killed the others.
I spared you from a world that would have used you, hunted you, like they hunted me. I gave you purpose.
But it was built on lies. You said the galaxy was broken. But it seems like it was you who was broken all this time. You kept us in that cage so you could keep pretending like nothing was wrong.
Ezra takes a step forward.
You don't have to follow him. Come with us. There's still time.
Vader lifts his hand slightly. Not threatening, just warning.
They are not yours to claim.
Sabine's hand moves to her weapon. Cal's blade hums to life. Tension screams in the air.
And we are not yours to keep.
Then one of the younger students, eyes wet with tears, raises their saber and strikes towards Vader. He reacts instinctively, parries the blow, but the counter sends the student tumbling, wounded. The moment breaks. The wounded student groans on the ground, clutching their side. The others rush to Vader to confront him, their weapons raised. Vader brings his lightsaber up, but focuses on defense, as he cannot bring himself to harm them. Instead, he steps back and tries to block their attacks. They continue to strike at him, but he begins to push them aside. That is, until Obi-Wan comes at him, flanked by Cal and Kanan. This time, Vader has no problem attacking them. Their lightsabers flash in a series of sparks. They circle each other and begin to rain attacks. Neither one of them gives any ground, and they both sweep their lightsabers. The shockwave sends them flying back, but as Obi-Wan skids back, he immediately is joined by the Jedi.
You said we were your legacy.
Vader says nothing.
This is done.
Vader lets out a growl and steps forward, but the Jedi all unleash a force push that slams him against the wall. He slumps to his knee and collapses. By the time he looks up, he sees them marching off. Yet when they make their way out, the sky darkens. A howl tears through the clouds. The Emperor's shuttle lands on the cliffs above, flanked by Inquisitor transports. Their engines scream like dying animals. Then he descends. Palpatine.
You disappoint me, Lord Vader. Training them in secret. You forgot who you are. Although I will say, it seems like they will serve their purpose after all. Bait. You've brought together all the surviving Jedi.
He raises his hands, and lightning explodes towards the ghost crew. Cal throws himself in the way, sabers crossed. Sparks scream. Sabine fires at incoming Inquisitors, while Hera pulls a wounded student toward cover.
Protect the children. Everyone. Defense. We're not so helpless. Charge.
To their surprise, the children rush forward to engage the Inquisitors. They split off into squads and rush them. Though young, many are adept fighters who hold their own and surround themselves. The ghost crew follows after, blasters and lightsabers flying as they support the Jedi and ensure they aren't overwhelmed. Sabers clash, blasters roar. The Ghost's cannons fire from behind a ridge thanks to Chopper taking control of the ship. Zir stands beside Obi-Wan now, blade held high. The two of them rush Palpatine to prevent him from engaging the others. He surges forward, faster than Zir expects. Lightning cracks across the ground, throwing both Jedi to the ground. But Obi-Wan leaps to his feet and springs forward, lightsaber flashing against him. They slash in a flurry of sudden strikes. He tries to follow up with a downward slash, trying to cut Palpatine down, but the Sith parries the strike. Zir rushes from the side and springs forward, yet the Emperor sidesteps his attack and throws him aside with the Force. He then presses forward and shoves the Jedi back. Obi-Wan grits his teeth, struggling to deflect Palpatine's sudden attacks. Zir rises, wounded, but burning with fire. They stand back to back and come at him again, yet they make no further headway in their assault. Palpatine meets them both at once, blade and force, and hate, a whirlwind of power. From the mist behind them, Vader moves. He strides, determined, saber ignited, but Vader walks past the Emperor towards Zir, who is thrown back. Just as Palpatine lashes out, lightning crackles towards the boy. Vader takes the blow. The lightning carves into his armor, melting steel and flesh. He drops to one knee, then rises again as he steps between them, lightsaber held ready.
I won't let you take them.
He lunges. Palpatine deflects it, but the blow sends him stumbling back. Now it's Vader and Obi-Wan together again. Two broken men rush at him, moving in opposite directions. The Inquisitors close in, but Zir and Cal intercept. Ezra and Sabine protect the children, buying precious seconds. Soon the Inquisitors find themselves being driven back, but Palpatine has his own problems. He is powerful and inhumanly fast, but Vader's blows are relentless, punishing. Obi-Wan counters with grace and precision, flowing beside him like the old days. Palpatine manages to land a blow on his shoulder, but rather than back down, he pushes it forward.
You will die here.
No, you will.
Obi-Wan seizes the moment. With a final blinding strike, the saber pierces the Emperor's chest. The battlefield quiets. The few surviving Inquisitors flee. The sky begins to clear, pale sunlight piercing the gloom. Zir runs to Vader's side. The Dark Lord is slumped against a rock, sparks spilling from his armor. His breathing is ragged, but steady.
You saved me.
I should have long ago. I thought I could build a better future from the shadows.
The Jedi heal him as best they can, but it takes months of recovery. This gives the small band of Jedi time to plan. and they come to the decision that they shall remain there and rebuild the Order. Cal, Kanan, and the others will join them and help them train the young Jedi alongside Obi-Wan, while Vader hunts down the remaining Inquisitors and finds the surviving Jedi. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.